Don't believe everything you read on the internet about the passive. The passive form is excellent in formal writing, but it could go wrong so easily. And I'm going to tell you 3 ways in which it might. First of all, very briefly for those who don't know what we mean by the passive. So this is when we swap the subject and the object in sentences with an activity. So sentences where there is an activity. So for example, if I get really mad and my computer's not working well, I might hit the computer. If I turn it into the passive, I say the computer was hit by me. Or I could even say the computer was hit and just not mention me at all. It's really good structure to use if you're trying to be more formal, because it makes you sound more objective, more professional, and you can take away the person who does the action, which can be useful. But where do we get into problems here? The problem is we can't use the passive in every single sentence. So firstly, we can't use the passive for intransitive verbs. So a transitive verb is where there is a subject and an object. So for example, I hit the computer. The computer is the object. That's fine. We can make the passive with that one. But if it's intransitive, we cannot. So for example, it rained today. There's no object there. We can't say today it was rained. You've got to have an object. The verb rain, you could potentially add an object to it, but we don't usually. This is an example of an intransitive verb. Secondly, where there is no activity in the sentence. So I hit the computer, there's an activity. I hit the computer. But you were a helpful friend, there's no activity. We're just describing a state here. And here we can't make it passive. So we can't say a helpful friend was being you. It does not work if there's no activity. And finally, this is the one that I'm seeing a lot in Facebook groups, is where the passive is used when we have 2 verbs in the sentence. We have the main verb followed by to plus infinitive and then an object. And you just get into all kinds of trouble there. So I hit the computer has 1 verb. That's fine. But he went to get the computer. We're starting to add lots of stages to the sentence. The passive works best when there is a simple transformation from subject, verb, object, switched around to object, verb, subject. It is possible in some circumstances to make an element of the sentence passive, but it's complicated. And again, I'm not going to go into it here because I'm just giving an introduction of what I mean. I would just avoid doing this. So, for example, he went to get the computer. Don't try and turn that into passive. Don't say the computer was gone to get him, because you've lost the meaning. You've lost that relationship between the subject and the object and the fact that the main verb ties them together. So here, the computer was gone. That's got nothing to do with he went to get. So you see, it just gets confusing. So when you see, if you, I'm guessing because you're watching a video on YouTube, you're someone who likes to go on the internet to learn more about the English language. If you see people trying to teach you that you can use the passive to move around elements in a long, complicated sentence, and they're not just sticking to the subject, verb, object, and there's no activity in the sentence, don't do it. Keep the sentence as it is.